to the second of the Shield semi-finals, and we have in that the Allied World Forces Exiles, made up of a number of Welsh players, and on the other side we have the let me get that right, sorted out there. I've got my numbers, the names of my numbers wrong there, and an opportunity right through the centre from the off, Junior Tumiaga. It's broken down, and opportunity here for moving it wide, the Silver Dragons, and it looks like a try for the Silver Dragons. And a score for Dan Barlow, it is. There is, I think I've got the wrong. So good running there by Totivi Ralaulu, but it's a scrum.
And the referee must have saw an infringement as he was trying to ground the ball.
12, Andre Coquillard. Just clarifying our team lines, one or two errors in the team sheets. But the drive forward by Callum Bullock, who was and there's Matt Rodden, who is refereeing this one. The Hong Kong referee development.
It's really pleasing to see Matt and Tim, who will be AR in at the sevens on the weekend, getting some great quality refereeing opportunity as part of the tens, with the intensity very high, often not at the level we can produce in Hong Kong, but it's great to see them being allowed to flourish and referee some of the games.
It's a big drive down that right side. Sean Cooper driven into touch. So the line out, it's an overthrow, but it's been salvaged there, and good ball now for Bruce Ashton. Drives forward. And the referee not happy with the hands in there, so the Allied World Exiles. So the Allied Forces Exiles, good take, the rolling maul, should be a score here. It's gone left, it's gone right, and it's down and it's been given. And the first score for the Devil's Advocate Silver Dragons. Number 7, Rudry Clancy. They got that one.
Yeah, finally. Lots of pressure.
Off the top by Jonathan Griffiths. Good rolling maul. Looked like Dan Barlow was going to score, but the ball shipped round to Rudry Clancy, and an opening score for the Silver Dragons.
And after a stellar season in 2014, they are the current holders of the Ambassadors Cup, the Interport Cup.
And that's a fine conversion from the touchline by Andre Coquillard. And a fine score. So the Forces Exiles now have to come back into this one. The Silver Dragons, Coquillard, influential in the earlier games. And it's again been retained. Driving forwards, Max Hayes. Trying to hold up there. The Exiles struggling to get themselves into this. They started in a composed fashion in the first match. Coquillard, little kick ahead, has to recover it himself. And the referees come back for an offside. And Coquillard will kick for the touch. And so far, the Silver Dragons look as if they're very much on top of this.
very much in control. It's not your traditional Tens game though, with air on the ball, Russell. It's very tight, rolling mauls, pick and drive. Just a little bit different to the last game that we watched.
Again, it's an overthrow. That's the second one of these. But Lewis Tutt picks it up for the Exiles, and they do have some pace in the back line, and will look to try and release it now. It's gone a bit narrow out on that wide channel, and he's been held up well by Totivi Ralolu, but it's a break, and Tom Rollins can't get away, and he's pulled down. Line out, quickly taken, and forward comes number 17 is Angove. Good timing of the delivery there, but under pressure Nathan Trowbridge, and the Forces Exiles struggling to string play together, unsupported, and it's a lot of individual play at the moment, and they're not getting players to the breakdown, and they're losing possession as a consequence.
Not a pretty match at the moment for our spectators. The crowd, as you said earlier, Russell, the crowd's starting to come in. It's a fantastic early evening. Obviously a working day in Hong Kong, and we still see the stadium start to fill up from about 4 o'clock on for the semi-finals and finals, and it's always a fantastic occasion at the end of day two. But yeah, not a pretty match at the moment.
And there is Andre Coquelard, who has scored the try that separates the two sides. Off the top is Renaud Chavanez. The scrum half snagged at the bottom of that ruck there. So it's a reset and a redrive. Good bit of work there by Bruce Ashton. Again, the scrum half struggling to get it out of there, and I think we're going to see Matt Rodden go to his pocket for a yellow card here for whoever comes up from the bottom of this.
You've just awakened me, Russell, with that Renaud Chavanez. There's a blast from the past in Hong Kong. Hong Kong international that went with work to Shanghai 2 years ago, and didn't realise he was in the starting lineup till you mentioned his name then. And great to see Renaud back in Hong Kong, a real character of the game, originally from France, as his name suggests. But yeah, what a top bloke. Renaud works for Rolex building watches, but working up in Shanghai at the moment.
And the Silver Dragons are a top Shanghai side, and there is Coquelard. Obviously, he's managed to draw in a few French players. Again, Coquelard he's lost it forward on that occasion, though. There's a chance for a counter-attack. Out wide is Beer trying to come inside. Little option there. And it's Rhys Thomas. Misses out on Angrove. But they've managed to make some territory on this one. That's Ben Lee charging forward. Again, taking on the line, good timing. Sloppy bit of work there has certainly gone forward off Rhys Thomas, and an opportunity spurned there. But we saw a lot more confidence from the Forces Exiles in their first match, and they did well for phases of that match. But they don't seem to have been in this game.
Mass substitution, 5 on, 5 off. Interesting tactics.
Well, I think the coach of the Exiles has probably agreed with me that they haven't really gone into this. So let's just change these front 5 guys.
Got to say, a bit extreme. 9 minutes in and a second half to come, but with the rolling substitutions, I suppose an option, and put fresh legs on and keep. Stay in the game. I suppose it's still a tight game, although territory-wise doesn't suggest that.
So Richard Brayshaw gets it in, and it goes to Coquelard. It's pulled down rather easily, and the ball's been lost. He didn't look after the ball very well on that occasion. Referee gives the opportunity now for Aled Jones. Out wide to Rhys Thomas. Good pace. Looks as if the bounce could favour him. It doesn't. Good covering work back by Taviti Ralulu. And match has been stopped. But an opportunity there, and the first bit of creativity we've seen from the Exiles, and the bounce just wasn't in favour of them.
Well, although the Dragons have dominated, and if you weren't looking at the score, you'd suggest they were 3 scores up. But this game is still open, and if I think if the Exiles can push the ball wide into the open spaces and stay in the game, they're still in with a chance of this. Although the territory's probably been 90%, or probably the first visitation into the actual Dragons half by the Exiles.
Well, Todeviti Ralulu was the man who made the cover defence work there. He seems to be having some problems with his calf or some cramp, which would be surprising. But he got back and saved what would have been a certain try. But now an opportunity for the Exiles to put some pressure on this scrum. Richard Brayshaw executes well, and the opportunity now whizzed away there. Caleb Balloch, aggressive stuff, and it's all slowed down a little bit.
With that, number 3, Mr. Williams written on his back.
Looks like
he's back after his yellow card, 3 minutes in the sin-bin. So the
Exiles back to the full complement after the yellow card, and some expectation here. It's gone long, and it's an excellent throw. Strikes Dan Gareth Beer. It's gone wide. Through Thomas, comes through the centre. And a fine score. And that's Gareth Lindeburn, and it's everyone's forgotten Gareth Lindeburn's try in the punch-up. And there seems to be some messy stuff going on there. Well, indications are there was a punch thrown. Lindeburn's try has almost been forgotten about in that, but that brings the Forces Exile back into this.
Got a flag on the far side as well, Russell, from the AR.
Matt is going to be popping across to identify which player started through the first punch.
Okay.
So Rhys Thomas is going to convert, one assumes, from in front of the posts. One assumes it's what happened after the try, as opposed to anything in the midst of the build-up to the try. It's obviously something fairly complex.
I think I picked up a little bit of holding on the edge of the ruck. There could be an obstruction, depending on what the...
So Matt Rodden decides to give the... He's looking for number 5.
Yeah, I think he's pulling it back for obstruction on the edge of the ruck, which resulted in the try. Doesn't appear to have awarded the try.
He's looking for number 5, I think, and number 5, who is Ruben Tucker, and he's standing. Ooh, Ruben Tucker, red carded. The try still stands, but Ruben Tucker has been red carded, and that is now a long 10 minutes left for his teammates. So we'll see.
Now 1 man down.
And we can see Tucker in the middle of that, but we don't see
So you add the extras.
anyone. All seems to be footage of after the event. But a bit of controversy. First red card of the tournament, and we're about to hit half-time with very little time left by my reckoning. But there we go, red card, fairly severe sanction. Clearly a punching, but it does now make the job for the Exiles a very, very difficult one. Big figure, number 23, not on the team sheet. Oh yes, he is, Amasu. Big force, running at pace. Got extra size shots on there. And here he goes again, boom. Big initial contact. Ball comes back on the right side. Chance for Trowbridge to move it away. Opportunity now. 2-on-1. Decides to come back in. Butchers the opportunity. And it's picked up by the big figure of Isolani Emesu. And it's pulled down there to some extent. And I think the referee is happy that that will be half-time. 15 minutes we've played. And a fairly controversial first half. It was dominated in the main by the Silver Dragons, but a strong finish by the Exiles, and they're back in it now.
7-all. Exiles now 1 man down.
Welcome back to the second half. Russell's just popped off to the little boys' room, so you're left with diaries for the start of this second half.
Basically in this half to see who goes into the
The
Shield
Dragons
final.
and the Exile in the semi-final of the Shield competition at the Hong Kong Tens 2015. All to play for, 7-all at half-time. Rather inactive first half, although we did have the first red card of the tournament shown. So the Exiles kick off, starting the second half with 9 players on the field. Great kick off and take, deep in the corner, and ball out into touch. So if the first half was anything to go on, it'll be a tight, tough, physical second half, but you'd have to favour the 10-man Dragons team, with the Exiles having to play the second half a man short. Great win at the lineup by the Dragons. Secured by Bruce Ashton. Number 23, Yusiria Imasu, taking the ball up. Starting the second half exactly the same as the first, very tight, pick and goes, very unusual for a Tens competition, but working at the moment for the Dragons. Ball pushed away by Renaud Chavanisse. Long pass, raking pass, opening a little bit of space. First bit of space we've seen in this game for the Dragons. Number 13, Tumango, taking the ball on. And there's a quick turnover. Great play by the Exiles to turn the ball over at a critical time. You think now that in the second half the Dragons would look to exploit the wide spaces and push the 9-man Exiles around the field, but poorly kicked touch finder there, so giving an opportunity again to the Dragons to counter-attack, and it could be a real costly. A great cover tackle there by Exiles number 2, Colin Murray. Fantastic cover chase. And Matt Rodden penalising the Exiles for killing the ball. Long raking passage suggest, yes. Been pulled back by Matt Rodden for a forward pass. So as we start the second half, or 3 minutes into the second half, you can see that a little bit of a change in game tactics by the Dragons, looking to push the ball wide into the wide open spaces, dragging the 9-man Exiles team from touchline to touchline, and opening the game out a little bit. We get a little bit of game of rugby's broken out now, rather than the pick and go around the fringes. So scrum opportunity, possession opportunity here. Russell's just rejoined me from the little boys' room, so the main man's back.
You're doing a fine job there, Di. So Lindenburn bursting away from that, the bottom of that scrum. An opportunity now, great pace showing Gareth Beer, steaming forward, opportunity. Lindenberg gets there, and suddenly, again, you mentioned the side with a player less. They've suddenly lifted the game up, a breakaway, and unexpected for the Silver Dragons, but a great try.
A great try, and yeah, this tactic, and here we see it again. This mass substitution that the Exiles seems to be employing. We've got 3 on and 3 off again. Start the second half. They seem to be keeping the guys fresh, and it's the name of the game, I suppose, when you're a man down and you've got 12 minutes to go. Oh, sorry, no, probably about 8 minutes on the clock now.
And at the end of their 50 overs, Australia scored 328. So India must score 329 to get into the World Cup final. We continue with this semi-final.
A moment from the announcers there about cricket, apparently, which we're not really sure about, but
Yes.
but being Scottish and Welsh, we don't do that. We don't play that sort of sport.
I know Scotland have got a good team these days.
Anyway, there is Chavannet, and quickly over him was Angove, and the 9 men putting up a decent fight of it. Good effort there by the big figure of Tanqueray. Seems to be.
Well, a great effort there from the touchline. We didn't pick it up because of the announcers, but what a great conversion as well of the try, and that conversion could be critical towards the end of the game with 7 minutes left on the clock.
14 points to the Exiles, 7 to the Silver Dragons. We're in the first of the Shield semi-finals, and again the Exiles are threatening. They've conserved their energy. Aled Jones, and out wide, that's Angrove, and a fine score. And the Exiles have shown some real resolve here. 1 man down, and nice bit of work. Recycled there. Aled Jones, Angrove driving in, and perhaps that will be enough. There's still 6 minutes left on this, and 6 minutes is long enough for a couple of tries. But a conversion here from the sideline will put an awful lot of pressure on the Silver Dragons.
What a strange game. It was like a little bit like a boxing match where they're on the ropes for the first half. There's a lot going on, smouldering, and all of a sudden the game has bounced into life, and all created possibly by the red card and being down to 9 men. It's fascinating.
Well, red cards sometimes have a funny effect on teams in certain sports. You often get the remaining players lifting their game that extra to cover. Sometimes you get a hammering, but on this one, it's they seem to have lifted the game considerably, but it's a good strong run here. And that's a big drive there by Bruce Ashton, supported by Colin Murray. And it's still rolling on. Neil Barrett's up there, and it was close stuff, that one. Bruce Ashton making a great run. Looks as if there's an injury here.
I think Aled Jones is down and got himself in all sorts of knots, putting his head in a really poor position, and I think could be we could see the end of Aled Jones's competition. I hope he's okay, but he got his head in an horrendous position if we watch it. Right knee to head.
Oh, and also there's a concussion there at least. His head's bashed off the turf. So whilst the head, was, they've decided, they've moved him onto his side, so it's not a neck, but I think it's a concussion situation. So we're just looking again at the footage of that nasty incident. Aled Jones making the tackle. It's good to see that he's sitting up. There's not a major neck trauma that we can see. Certainly, I would suspect a concussion, given his head crashed off the turf after the tackle, and I think for certainty there's a concussion there, and I think we'll probably not see much of Aled Jones, and they're going through some of the concussion protocols at the moment, but he doesn't really look as if he's too familiar with what's happened. So, big shame for Aled Jones.
For the Exiles is back up. They'll probably be needing a beer, I would suggest. By the way, Foster's is our beer sponsor at the GFI Hong Kong Football Club Tens.
Just over 5 minutes left on the clock, Russell, and still all to play for, I feel. Aled Jones has been a dominant player for the Exiles over the last 14 minutes, and if the Dragons can get a little bit of possession now, score early, still lots of time in a Tens match left on the clock.
So it's an important scrum, this. Lindenburn puts it in, it's wheeling, and referee Matt Rodden considers that the Silver Dragons wheeled that. Big Bruce Ashton in that scrum there, along with Ayamasu, and that's good touch finder. So the pressure relieved and 5 minutes remaining. So we're halfway through the second half, and we continue to see the on and off flow of substitutions in this, particularly by the Exiles. But taking the best out of them and then subbing them off for a break and then bringing them back on again. Good line out, although sadly not straight.
Critical primary possession now. The Dragons need a score in the next minute or so to have a chance at this game. Oh, interesting, they've gone for the line at Russell instead of the scrum.
It's been successful. They've been very good at that. Their line outs, and there's Coquillard. Coquillard, though, hasn't taken the ball to the line as much as he did in the earlier game we watched this morning. And now you've got Ben Lee driving it up. And the referee deciding that holding on, and that was Max Haynes, who was penalised on that occasion, and time is running down and certainly beginning to favour the Exiles. 3.5 minutes left, and the Silver Dragons, for all their pressure and the domination in the early part of this game, seem to have used up a fair bit of the energy in that first half.
Yeah, certainly now it appears to be going the Exiles' way. Although, again, I suppose, but the game hasn't been open and expansive. Still 3 minutes to go. Time
More
for
substitutions ongoing, but we're back to the game. We've got Tom Rowlands looping round, whizzing it across. It misses out on Sean Cooper, and Thomas doesn't quite get a hold of it. They're going to have to be careful here. Some sloppy back play there could have allowed an opportunity for the Silver Dragons, who again are going to go for the line out on halfway. There's just under 3 minutes left. Score now could still make it for exciting. Coquillard again, he doesn't take on the line. He ships it wide. Some pace out there on the wide Joshua Lane, but he gets dragged down. Good defense out wide. And here's a big driving run there by Colin Murray. Brought to ground sharply. Good contest for the ball. Looks to sort of snipe through there, but it's been held up. And Gareth Lindburn gets caught in the wrong place. They're not able to roll away, and a penalty. And I wonder, well, I think the decision's already been made. That Coquillard, André Coquillard, has taken. He's kicking for the corner. No, he's changed his mind now, perhaps. There we go. So he ships it up, and the big contact. Well recycled. Again, good work. Gone wide, but too wide. Stepping around the outside, always risky. Brayshaw sending him out there. And the opportunity gone. And I think with that, the continued involvement here of the Silver Dragons. They may have been highly successful in Shanghai leading up to this tournament, but down here in Hong Kong at the GFI Tens, they've run up against a very savvy outfit with several Welsh players amongst them in the Forces Exile, and they've played a very smart game despite being on the ropes for a fair bit of time. Another opportunity here, kick ahead, running on, picked up beautifully by Nathan Trowbridge, and inside it goes to Sean Cooper, and this will seal it. A fourth try for Cooper, and that is the Exiles into the final of the Shield. Fine try.
Great try. Absolutely amazing game. I really would have put money on the Dragons winning this game at the half time, particularly with the way the first half had gone, and with the Exiles down to 9 men. But as you said, Russell, red cards have some strange effects on teams, and the Exiles thoroughly deserve. They played a great savvy, as you say, second half, and a fantastic result for them. And great to see them going into the final, and it'll be a great final against the football club later in the day.
Yeah, they've been expedient. They've done enough, and they've been very successful at that. I mean, I think I would fancy them against the football club, but who knows? The football club on the home patch might fancy it themselves. So
yeah, I think it'll be very evenly matched actually later, and although the Exiles seem a little bit more physical at this stage of the game than the football club did, but who knows? I think it'll be a good final.
So there we go, there is the final whistle.
Gentlemen, the Exiles
so
are victorious.
26 points to 7. And it's 7-0, you'd have never expected that. So join us again after this for the second.
And with that, unfortunately, we say goodbye to the Devil's Advocate Silver Dragons to this year's GFI Hong Kong Football Club's 10. So a big round for the Silver Dragons. We're very fortunate here at the Tens to have Tsunami as our official apparel sponsor and supplier. They're in the TT area behind the ground, so if you want to have a look, they've got a great selection of Tsunami apparel there. We thank them immensely for their support over the years, and we'd love for you to go out and have a look and spend some money in their shop. They're in the TT area, just behind the ground. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the East Africans against